Hey. Good morning, my social media world, my family and friends. Good morning to you. DB Bedford here, your emotional intelligence consultant. Just wanted to come on this morning while I'm out taking my morning walk. You know, my morning walks don't get to them every day, but I try to get them in as much as possible. And they're very therapeutic, I must say. You never really know until you get out here the energy that's generated when you come out and take a walk. I mean, you see people, you see things, and all that I think has a direct correlation to like how your energy could be for the day. But I wanted to come on this morning and talk about funerals. So if you've been following me for the last week or so, you know that a good friend of mine who's like a little brother to me, Nappy Nardo, passed away in his sleep last week, and we put him to rest yesterday. And beautiful going home celebration for my man. And what happened afterwards is that we did the repast in Brookfield outside at the park. And so we put the barbecue pits out there, and we put a DJ out there, and we came together and we socialized. And so as I started to look around, as people started to show up, so me myself being from Brookfield, I came to Brookfield in 86, 87 or so, and definitely my stomping grounds. But however, I have not been on the concrete jungle in the streets of Brookfield in many years. But it's always in me. No one can ever erase the past and what I've contributed to that neighborhood, and I love it dearly. And what I recognized while being in Brookfield yesterday, there was so many different generations of folks that came out. So you had the younger generation, right? My that's my son age and younger. You had guys that were in their 20s, their 30s, the 40s, and then the older generations, 50s, 60s, the elders, all came together to put Nappy Nardo to rest. And what we all discern, what we all recognize is that we have to stop coming together in tragedy, right? Like once tragedy happens, why does that take for us to come together? And then I started thinking about all the funerals that I've been to. And every funeral I've been to, you always run into people that you haven't seen in a while, right? People who even normally would not even come out, right? We come out, and you run into people that you probably was at odds with, or you guys probably weren't on speaking terms. But for this moment, right, we put all that to the side. And so what I said, my comment in my caption about I've been to over 75 funerals. I mean, several funerals. I mean, some a lot obviously were just natural passing, but a lot due to gun violence and things of that nature. But no matter the cause of death, when we come together, we are community, right? So it had me thinking about a lot of things, like why do we only come together for funerals, right? Like really come together, like we come out in the masses, right? When tragedy happens, right? If something happens to that we feel that's something that's very unjust or it was wrongly done, we'll come together, right? Something, if there's something that's happening in the news that we feel a certain kind of way about, we come together. So it had me thinking, like, what all these funerals have in common. And I speak everything through the lens of emotional intelligence, so I have to always figure out where the emotions play a part in this. And it's all about the way we feel, right, about what happened to the person, right? And the feeling that we have, right, is usually sadness, depending on how close you were to them, depression, maybe anger, but there's an emotion that drives you to that service. It drives you to that cause, right? And that emotion becomes greater, right, than not getting along with the person that's next to you. It makes you speak. Like everybody at the service is always speaking. We're breaking bread. We just get this family feeling. And growing up in Brookfield, if you grew up in like Brookfield and Sobrani and Dag, one of the things that's just a little bit different than those type of or our neighborhoods is that there's a bigger sense of community. I'm not knocking the avenues at all. I love the avenues, but their block radius is kind of small, right? So there's only a little bit of folks that come together, where when you're in a neighborhood, like it's over almost 1,000 houses in Brookfield, right? I'm sure it's about the same as Sobrani Park, maybe a little less than Dag, but all of these families, like we eat over each other's houses when we're younger. We go knock on back windows. In Brookfield, everybody got the garage, converted into a bedroom, and so there's a lot of reasons why we come together. But as we grow and get older, right, life gets in the way and we start to separate ourselves, right? People reach different statuses. People start to get envious and jealous of each other. People get mad for, just for any reason at us. And one of the things we kept talking about yesterday at the funeral was that, we got to learn, and somebody said this at the service, right? We got to learn to put this pettiness away, right, amongst each other. If you really think about it, like most of the conflict you've probably had in your life or about, when you peel back the layers, it's probably pretty petty, right? Like it really didn't even have to happen. But when you live your life through the lens of emotional intelligence, you learn to recognize that it's emotions, right, that is driving how you are delivering this information and receiving it. So think about somebody you might have a problem with right now, or had one in the past. Because if you've been living long enough, you've had a problem with people. And think about the core of the issue. Does it really matter, right? Is it something that could have been talked through? And we got to get comfortable, right, with being uncomfortable. And we have to get comfortable with agreeing to disagree. And just because I disagree with you doesn't mean I don't like you. I just disagree with what you said. Doesn't even mean I don't like what you said. It simply means I disagree. And I think that if we can embrace that space, right? That's a good point, Monique, in terms of we're very comfortable thinking that tomorrow is just gifted, and it's not. This moment is not gifted. Hell, I could fall out while doing this live, right? This could be the last live I do. And so we have to take a moment. I spoke on that in my last live about maximizing the experience with each other. But when we talk about interpersonal relationships, and that's what I'm kind of getting to, interpersonal relationships, the relationships you have with each other, we have with each other, the people we are in relation, our brothers, our sisters, our family, friends, our co-workers, our bosses, whatever. Think about the things that cause conflict. Like, they're usually microscopic, but they get inflated and blown up based on how you feel about it. Like, what feeling you inject into that. And the reason why we're trying to keep a conscious look on this emotional intelligence platform, because it is the neutralizer, right, to a lot of this negativity that we're seeing, right? And it was a lot of love, like I said, at the repast yesterday. I mean, you see people that you haven't seen in so long. We're seeing all these generations, right? And we're all meeting each other at different times in our lives. Good morning, Ramona. And no matter what, and we have conflict. I was telling my wife a couple of stories about people I had conflict with that I've done some things to back then, who sat right in front of me at the service. And when they seen me, turn around, deny, and it's all love. I am certainly not a stranger to conflict in my life, right? But the only way that I can exist and get through that conflict is by the use of emotional intelligence. Having empathy for the impact that it had on others. Good morning, sis. Good morning, Tania. Being responsible for my role in a situation, because a lot of times we will blame the other person or the situation on why we did what we did, right? Good morning, Miss Carolyn. Missed you yesterday. It's like we have to be more responsible of our role in our relationships. Like the energy that we bring. The post I posted today was about vibing responsibly. You know how they say you need to drink responsibly? We need to start vibing responsibly. And what I mean by that is that you have to be responsible, right, for the energy you bring to any situation you would come up in and any conversation that you in. Don't worry about the other person's energy. You be responsible. You vibe responsibly. And if you are not in a good mood, because we all get our bad moods, right? Life is gonna do that to you, right? You're responsible for not spreading that amongst the people. When you're not in a good mood for the day, just stay home, right? Stay off the phone. Don't respond to texts. Don't respond to emails. Don't go around spreading that negative vibrations. Because when you spread those negative vibrations, you give it to somebody else, they pass it on, then they pass it on, and now, right, we reverse engineering what we should not be doing, right? We should be spreading positive vibes. Just like when somebody brings something to you about somebody else, right? Oh, you heard DB, he think he all that, or, whatever comes up, right? Or somebody says, how they, I'm just being a little facetious. But instead of listening to that, what if you just stopped it right there and say, oh, whoa, that sounds like some low frequency stuff, no disrespect to you, and I got love for you, but however you feel about that person, you should probably tell them, right? Because if we do better at talking to each other instead of talking about each other, we will vibe responsibly. 9 times out of 10, when people are talking to you about somebody else, they haven't had a conversation with that person. And how unfair is that to the person? Because most of the time, we don't even know that you're talking about us till somebody come and tell us third party. But if you're going to be a responsible adult, if you have a problem with someone, right, you should have a conversation with them. And it's okay to say, hey, man, I don't like what you did or what you said, right? So I wanted to share that with you. Let's have a discussion. Now, for some of y'all gonna think it's corny, you're gonna think it's weak, but I didn't make it to 45, right, on a fluke, right? And I definitely have been in some heavy shit in my life. You know what I'm saying? And I'm telling you, the way that I've always neutralized conflict, right, is about having a conversation. Now, sometimes you can't have it in a moment. Now, we get that because emotions are powerful. If you have a conversation when you're emotionally charged, it's probably going to come off not in the best space. However, if you're honest, like, man, you know what? That ain't vibe right with me. I'm going to have to come back and circle back and talk to old boy or old girl about that. Then you pretext the conversation. When you're about to have a conversation, you tell them, hey, DB, you know what? I want to have a conversation about what we talked about yesterday. You may or may not picked up on this, but kind of rubbed me the wrong way when you said my glasses was ugly. Whatever. Then that person more than likely is going to be like, oh, I didn't even realize I offended you. Or they will explain what they really meant by that. Because how many times have because sometimes we had to check people, right? You check people in the moment, right? How many times have you checked somebody, and as soon as you check them, what they do? Oh, my bad. I ain't mean that. Because people naturally don't want to do wrong by people. People act like they do, but you don't. Like people, it doesn't feel good. What feels much better is when you see somebody and there's a smile, there's a good morning, good afternoon, what's going on with you, and passing that good energy feels way better than coming around with negative energy. And I know because I've been on both sides of the spectrum. So nobody can convince me. I don't care if you out here, laying people down, if you super mean, so if you're 8 feet tall, you're aggressive. You don't feel good about that. You might feel good in the moment because you feel like you got a little power, right? But really, that's some insecurity shit, right? Because how could you feel good about making somebody feel bad? Huh? It's like an oxymoron. Like, how are you going to feel good about making somebody feel bad? If you just think about that, if we could keep that, right, in the center of our spirit, right? This is why emotional intelligence is so important. This is why until my heart beats no more, I'm going to be spreading this message. And I'm only going to make it doper and doper because this is what we need to look at the world through the lens of emotional intelligence. Why? Because emotional intelligence makes you always check your own mood and attitude. It gives you the skills to responsibly, right, and skillfully respond to the emotions of others. Because people, everybody ain't got this. I got a lot of work to do. That's why I'm asking you guys to join and start practicing emotional intelligence, because we got a lot of ground to cover. And if you're ready to jump on, man, get a copy of that free book, ineverworryfreebook.com, right? That's the link, ineverworryfreebook.com. If you already have the book and you think it's dope, pass it on, right? Take that link and pass it on. If you want to roll with me on this, join the academy, ineverworryacademy.com. You can join for free. I'm doing everything I can to spread this message, because guess what? If you check yourself, right? Good morning, Stacy. I'm taking this right off your comment. If you self-check yourself, check your own temperature before you connect with the world, and ask yourself, how I feel today? What's going on with yourself? You know, when you look in the mirror, right? Look yourself in the eyes and pause for a second, right? A lot of you won't do it, right? A lot of you will not look yourself in the eye when you look in the mirror because you think it's creepy. You don't even look at yourself, but you want everybody else to respect you. Like, we wash our face, brush our teeth, comb our hair, but how about taking a moment and looking at yourself? How am I going to show up in this world? Good morning, babe. Right? How am I about to show up in this world? And if I'm not in a good mood, am I going to vibe responsibly? If I'm not in a good mood, I'm going to take a moment before I start connecting to people, because I want to vibe responsibly. That's emotional intelligence, being honest about how you feel before you connect to people. And while you out connecting with people, when something rubs you the wrong way, right? Somebody says something to you, don't be a coward and not say nothing to them. Say something to them. Say, hey, you know what you just said? Help me understand where you was coming from with that, right? Because there's another thing we teach in the emotional intelligence platform about judging too quickly. Some of y'all are real bad with that, you know, and we all guilty of it, right? I'm just a little bit better because I'm conscious of it. But think about how quick you judge people, right? Think about how quick you judge people. Somebody do something, somebody says something, and in a minute you all in, and you don't even know the whole story. One thing about the emotional intelligence platform, we talk about don't judge too quickly. You never want to judge a person by the page of their life that you walked in on. Let that marinate. Never want to judge a person by the page of their life you walked in on, right? Because all of us got pages in our book that we don't want read out loud, right? Van, good morning, brother. You know, we got pages in our life we don't want read out loud. And you don't know a person's whole story. And a lot of times, I always say this, right? We have to emotional intelligence helps you understand that you have to take under consideration what's behind the person that's standing in front of you. You always got to take under consideration what's behind the person that's standing in front of you. We all are a total sum of our experiences. Yep, me and you. If you're here, if you're listening, if you're paying attention, everything that you do is through the lens of everything that you've experienced. So we got a lot of trauma, right? Right? A lot of us grew up in some messed up situations. A lot of us have abuse, physical, sexual, alcohol, drugs, right? These experiences shape how we see things, right? We've got broken homes. We've been mistreated, right? And on the other side, people have had great experiences in life but the default is that they don't understand how these other people are living, so they don't have the empathy, right, that is needed, right, to connect to people. I've been telling you guys this, I've been talking about this phrase for a minute. Human currency, my friends. Human currency. We chasing the wrong money these days. Human currency is what we need. And human currency is the energy that I'm talking about. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It is only transferred from person to person throughout the day. If you don't believe me, today, do an experiment. As you are out and about, I don't care where you're at. If you're in a house right now, when you put this phone down and go into the next room, the next person you encounter, take in the energy of the space that you enter. Because see, energy is just like oxygen. It's like air. You can't see it, but it's there. Emotional intelligence, there's a domain called social awareness. that teaches us to tap into the energy of the room. Energy, frequency, vibes tells you what to embrace and what you should stay away from, right? Because there's spaces that we step into sometimes that's just, we shouldn't even have a conversation about it right now, right? There should be things that we should pause, right? Put some space in between your responses. It's another part of the emotional intelligence domain when we talk about managing reactions. If you're new to the platform and you just stumbled across me, I'm DB Bedford, your emotional intelligence consultant. Emotional intelligence, 4 domains, right? I'm trying to get this stuff out. I try so many creative ways to get it out. I know it takes a while for us to embrace it, because some of us hear it and they like, oh, DB, that's good, that's dope what you're doing, and I love that, right? I love when I'm out in the community and people telling me the great stuff that I'm doing, but all I'm really thinking about when you're telling me that, I really want you to do great things with what I'm sharing, because I can't do it by myself. So as many people that embrace, that's why I stopped selling shirts, right? A lot of people be asking me, oh, you should make a Never Worry shirt with this and with that. I don't do Never Worry no more for one particular reason. I needed to rebrand myself and come to I Never Worry. So when you wear it, it's about you. And I Never Worry is a representation of emotional intelligence. That's why you can't buy a shirt without buying a book, right? You go to the website, you can't just go buy a shirt, right? You cannot get a shirt from me unless you have the book. And my hope is that you read it. That's why I only made it 100 pages, so you can get through it quick. I made the book 100 pages. I made each chapter 6 to 8 pages. My strategy, I never said this before out loud in public, but I'll tell you why. My strategy, I figured, if I make the chapters 6 to 8 pages, by the time you start reading, right before you probably get distracted or something happens, you look and you're at chapter 2. So hopefully you get juiced and be like, oh, I'm gonna knock another one down and another one down, and before you know it, you got through the book. That's why it's only 100 pages, right? But when you out wearing an I Never Worry shirt, my goal is that you out representing emotional intelligence, right? You put on your armor for the day and be like, I'm about to go out here and I'm not about to let nothing or nobody knock me off my square, and I'm gonna be elevated. I'm gonna vibrate on a frequency so high when you can, that's the operative word. When you can, you're gonna help somebody else move into that space, right? Because you can't, again, your spidey senses will tell you, social awareness will tell you what you can embrace and what you stay away from. But the whole idea here, you guys, is to create a community, a world. Like, my dreams are big, right? You know, my wife will tell you all the time, I'm always standing on the top of something like, we're gonna change the world. I'm gonna change the world. And sometimes at the sacrifice of even my own personal family, right? And I always have to come back and apologize to them, you know, because it's just in me. I can't help it. So it's a sacrifice for being so close to me. Sometimes the people so close to me don't get all the love that I should be giving because I'm too busy trying to give it out. I'm too busy trying to raise awareness on something because I want to die with a purpose. When I'm gone, 100 years from now, right? If this is the last live video I ever had, when y'all show up to my services, first of all, don't be sad. Because I'm telling you right now, a lot of people say I live my best life, and I get it because I said it before too. But what I'm saying is, every moment that I'm breathing, I've done the most that I could do in that moment. I ain't gonna say the best, right? Because that's measurable. But I'm always conscious of what I'm doing in the moment. So whenever I fall, that's just where my work stops. But my concern, my fear, is that it will stop. I don't want the work to stop. So I want as many people as possible to join in. Right? It doesn't matter where you at, what you doing. What asking you to live your life in an emotionally intelligent way is not taking nothing away from what you already do. You could build your brand through it. You can use it at work. You can use it in your relationship. You can raise your kids with it. It ain't gonna take nothing from you. It's just adding human currency. Stop chasing the wrong money. Start chasing this human currency, right? Emotional intelligence. Give this to your kids and watch how they prosper in life. Because when they can learn, right, social awareness to recognize what they should embrace and stay away from, when they can check themselves every morning when they get up, check their own temperature and be honest about how they feel, right? Because, you know, we usually not honest about how I feel. That's why, you know, and I do it too. I'm pregnant now. I'm not 100% EI, like I'm human. I'm in the high 90s though, but like I've always said, what helps me is that my bounce back game is phenomenal because I understand emotional intelligence. Not always instantly, but I'm going to always bounce back. But we all do this. Somebody see you, they read the energy, social awareness. They see the energy, they feel the vibes. So what do they say? Hey, what's wrong with you? And what do we say? Nothing. I'm cool. You're lying, right? Because we know something's wrong with you, right? Instead of being honest and saying, especially with men, we ain't gonna do this, right? But how about saying, I'm a little sad today. I'm a little depressed. I'm not feeling that well. But I'll be back, but in this moment. Because you know what'll happen? That person will respond accordingly. But if you tell them ain't nothing wrong, then, depending on how much they care about you, they may just go on about their business, or they just may continue talking to you about things that you don't even want to hear right now because you're trying to cope and manage something. See how that works? But if you honest, then you never know what that person could offer to enlighten you. 4 domains of emotional intelligence: self-awareness, right? Check your own temperature. Managing your reactions. When something happens, right? How do you respond, right? How do you respond? Social awareness, right? Or situational awareness, either way you want to say it. And then the last piece, the 4 domains, is relationship management, putting value into the relationships around you. And when we talk about relationship, we're not just talking about the one you're intimate with, we're talking about all relationships, even the people you don't know. When I'm walking up this hill, I see 4, 5, 6 people, 2 people on bikes, 1 man coming down, all different nationalities, and I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, when we are coming up to each other, whether they are conscious of it or not, we are checking each other's energy. When you are walking up towards somebody, you don't even realize it, but you're checking their energy, right? You're feeling for the energy. And I tell you, when we go, good morning, how you doing, sir, right? It's just a relief. People are like, yes, they feel good. Just spoke, and guess what? They vibrate into the next person. The only thing changes that energy is when some bad energy comes across. Something tragic happens, or somebody is rude or disrespectful or whatever. I'm walking into Starbucks this morning to get something for my walk. A lady coming behind me, 2 ladies, right, and a dude coming behind me. I don't know why. I'm ahead of them. You know how Starbucks line could be. For whatever reason, my vibe says open the door and let all them in first. You should have seen the looks on their face, right? Because, as an African-American brother, you standing 6 feet tall, right? And, people are sometimes more intimidated. When I open the door, let them in, you should see how good they felt, right? And guess what? They offered to buy me something, and I turned it down respectfully because it wasn't about the exchange, right? But that's how powerful energy is. What do all funerals have in common? That's the caption that I got up there, is that we come together as a community, right, at a funeral, right? No matter what you have going on with someone, like I was saying, being from Brookfield community, generations, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and maybe even 70s. Matter of fact, the top was 80. My homeboy's mother is turning 80 very relatively soon. And each generation was able to connect. We've been around each other for so many years, there's definitely conflict amongst us. Guess what? None of that mattered. Every time we seen somebody, hugs, love, pick up where we left off, ain't even talking about, ain't even trying to resolve that. It's resolved. In this case, based on the fact that we come together. You feel what I'm saying? So, why we gotta wait till something tragic to happen before we come together? Why does it take a funeral? Why does it take a senseless murder, right? Why does it take things like that to bring us together, right? Somebody says something against blacks, right? Then all of a sudden all the blacks come together. Or this and that. Why do we gotta do that? Why can't it just be love? I'm telling you, if you lead with love, and anybody who knows me know I'm coming from a very genuine space, and I'm certainly not soft in any way, right? Been rolling with the best of them, and even the folks in my life, I'm gonna go just a little bit deeper, then I'm gonna finish my walk. Even the goons that I know in my life, right? And if you don't know what a goon is about as grimy as you can get, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to unethical behavior, right? Because they are willing, right, to do whatever it takes to take somebody out the game for whatever reason, right? Whether it's, you get the point. Even these guys, right, as they get older, as they get experiences, they start to turn the page and start to understand that it's more important to lead with love than hate. So they reverse engineer their lifestyles, and now they're leading with love. Those and all my folks that's in jail. I got partners in jail, been there 20 years. They are not the same person they were when they committed that crime, right? Conversation sounds just like the conversations we have, right? They ain't on there on some rah-rah shit and like, this is easy and blah, blah, blah. Motherfuckers in there like, man, I want to come home, right? It ain't cool in here. I'm doing what I got to do, right? But what I'm saying is that when you are living a life full of negativity, right, and low frequency, you cannot sit here and tell me that you feel good about it, right? When you living with stress, stress will take you out the game faster than anything. I see you, nephew. What's up, boy? Right? Stress will take you out the game faster than anything, right? You know, that's pit in your stomach, you all cloggy, you can't move, you don't feel like doing nothing. That's because stress is counterproductive. And that shit only comes, right, when you out here not vibing responsibly. So all I'm saying is, right, what do you got to lose to lead with love, right? Especially as men, all my homies, all my men on here, right? We got to start seeing each other in love. We ought to be happy to see each other. Check this out. Good morning, Mona, right? Check this out. If you look at the news every single day, right? Good morning, Jen. Think about this. Turn on the news, right? Shit, after this live, find some news. All you're going to see on the news is fucking tragedy and triumph, right? Not even, it's a little bit of triumph, but mostly tragedy, right? Cars burning on fire, floods, babies getting killed, all kind of random ridiculous going on, right? That is the universe reminding you, right? That's the universe reminding you. There's a lot of stuff going on, and you should be graceful that in this moment, it's not happening to you. Which should encourage you when you see another human, man, high five, greetings, love, because we know at any moment it could be us. I see you, Jasmine, you know my heart goes out to you. We lose loved ones on a regular basis. And one day we all going to take this trip, right? That's the thing about death, right? Logically, right? And see, again, emotional intelligence helps you cope with death more because you don't lead with emotions, you lead with logic. Because logically, all of us are going to leave here, right? We know that. But when the emotions kick in, you can't believe it. It's trash. It's why me? Why this? Why that? That's why, like I said in my last video, you got to spend more time maximizing your experiences with the people you're connected to. So in that untimely event, when we're not here anymore, you can reflect on how great your relationship and your experiences was. That guilt really kick in because we feel like there's unanswered, uncompleted, there's more we could do, right? And there's always more to can do. Your end basket will always be full, right? You'll never accomplish everything. So you only can manage what you have. And emotional intelligence keeps it in perspective for you. So that's kind of what I got for you guys this morning. You know, spreading love, you know, my nephew Brookfield Deuce, you know, he made these shirts that says spread love is the Brookfield way. That's just the theme of his way, I believe, bringing the community of Brookfield together. But we're all a community, right? You all have communities. You all have families, right? Start looking at them as such, right? Stop waiting until that moment, right, that all of a sudden we want to love each other or show love, because we never stop loving each other. And the power, the things I want you to extract from this conversation. Number one, get up every day, do a real self-check about yourself. What is your mood and attitude? And be honest about it. You got to vibe responsibly. If you don't have a good vibe or good energy, just take a time out before you connect to the world. When something happens, right, practice responding, right, instead of reacting. Put some space in between those responses. Social awareness, right, energy, right? Energy cannot be created or destroyed, right? It's just transferred amongst us all day. So pay attention to your social awareness and your situational awareness and relationship management. Reach out to the people that you have a problem with, so-called problem, and be the bigger person and resolve that issue. I almost guarantee you, that if you have a conversation with someone, you're going to find out that 9 times out of 10 it's not as serious as you thought it was. And even if it was, and even if it is, at least you'll know you made a reasonable effort to neutralize the negativity. That's all you can do, okay? Now, I'm loaded with a bunch of emotional intelligence strategies, concepts, perspectives. I can't give them all away on the live. We'd be here for years. Can't always give it away to you when I see you in passing, right? I love when I see you in passing and you stop me and you want to have a conversation with me, but I'm telling you, here's one little secret. It doesn't matter what you're telling me about your situation. I'm listening very genuinely, but all I'm thinking about is which emotional intelligence strategy I can give you to help you neutralize your thoughts. Because see, the emotional intelligence platform is only designed to give you a moment to pause, to rethink about what you were going to do first instinctively, right? Or to verify, even if it was a good move, that this is the right move. Because most of us already know, we already know right from wrong, right? I'm not teaching you nothing super magical. What I'm doing is giving you the nuggets, right? The bits of wisdom to insert in those times when you need them the most, right? So like for me, somebody say something slick, something happened to me, I know putting space in between my responses is very important, so that I don't say, what I really want to say in the moment, because I still can feel the way I want to feel. Remember, emotional intelligence is not about telling you how to feel. It's about managing those feelings, right, and managing the responses of others. One of the things I like to use, and I give this one away for free a lot. If you can master the art of not taking things personal. I know that burns when I say it to people. If you can master the art of not taking things personally, right, you got this thing figured out. Because think about how you feel when you take something personal. Anything you take personal becomes emotionally charged. You're already down a rabbit hole. Now we got to try to pull you back, right? I try to practice not taking things personal. And when I get, and then one of my signals that I know that I'm taking it personal, because I feel I'm angry and shit. Right? I'm angry, I'm irritated. So I gotta ask myself, why am I taking this personal? Right? And here's another thing that's important to know. B Legit said this on my podcast one time. He said, it's the people closest to you, right? They got the code to your emotions. It's the people closest to you that have the code to your emotions. Well, all I'm saying is that we tend to be as less patient and get more irritable to the people closest to us than those away from us. And I know I have to manage that a lot, right? So pay attention to that. Emotional intelligence is a powerful platform. I know, Erica, but I never said it was going to be easy. I know it's hard, sweetheart, but not once in none of my lives did I say it's going to be easy, right? It's not easy. If it was easy, I wouldn't have a platform to operate from. I have to figure out something else to do to be of service to the world, right? This is what makes it dope, right? Because it's not easy, but it gets easier, Erica, right? And thank you for that comment. It gets easier the more you practice it, right? The more you get comfortable with it, the more you make it part of your day-to-day. Then you become really good at it. And guess what? I'm gonna tell you something. If you've been exercising emotional intelligence, right? Do me a favor, make a comment at some point about how it's affected your life. I guarantee you, anybody on here that's practiced emotional intelligence at any point will tell you they got good results, the human currency was big, and they felt good about themselves because it's a powerful platform. I guarantee you. So, if emotional intelligence, right, is the key to personal freedom, to elevating your life, both personally and professionally, why wouldn't you incorporate it in everything that you do? You can't lose, right? If you don't know how to do it, I never worry, freebook.com. Giving away the book for free, right? All you got to do is go to ineverworryfreebook.com, download your digital copy, 100 pages, you can read it today. When you start being a credible messenger of emotional intelligence in your community, watch how people around you change. And when I mean change for the good, I mean like they're going to rely on you to help them get through the moment. And the human currency is how you feel about serving a purpose and helping people, right? Watch how opportunities, thank you, Captain, I appreciate that, humbly received, Ms. Mitchell. Watch how many opportunities come to you. A lot of people be looking at me and be like, man, you doing your thing. I know that's how we talk, right? I understand the language, but man, you doing your thing. Man, I see you moving out there. It ain't me. It's this emotional intelligence. It's the human currency I'm spending. I do what I can to make sure every encounter that I have, I put some value there, right? So what people are doing, they feel emotions. They feel good about what they're seeing. They feel good about what they heard. If you ever taken one of my trainings, if you had that experience, 9 times out of 10, you walked out of there like, I feel that. Like I could use this. This is good. So what do? They go tell the experience to somebody else, right? Then to somebody else, and then it lands in somebody who works in human resources. That's a training manager. And they go, hey, we need this at my job because they X, Y, and Z. Right? Which is why I picked the platform. I worked in for 20 years, right? I worked for 15 years at the probation department, right? Excellent career, right? But there's some toxic in the environment. And it's not just there, it's everywhere, right? Anywhere there's people, there's gonna be toxic behavior. Because guess what? Everybody don't know about emotional intelligence. Everybody don't know about temperament theory, which is another signature thing we have on the emotional intelligence platform. Everybody doesn't know about the 4 agreements, right? Everybody doesn't know about social contagion. Everybody doesn't know about these things, right? Social contagion, right? I'm gonna thank my man Rod Campbell for turning me onto this book called The Code of the Extraordinary Mind. In that book, he talk about the social contagion. Social contagion being like beliefs and values or just conversation that you pass on without fact checking. Right? How many times have you passed on information without fact checking? A little different than rumors and gossiping, right? Because that's because social contagion, it could be positive, right? You know, some of the norms, right, that you have today been passed on to you, right, by your parents. And who's to say it's the right thing to do, right? We are operating on 200-year-old norms, so to speak, that ain't even relevant anymore. But you pass it on like it's law, right? Just like the whole thing, go to school, get a good job, X, Y, and Z. Well, we're starting to find out now, like that ain't all the end all, right? There's more to it than just going to school, going to college, getting a good job, right? Because you go to college, you get in debt, right? You go, and now, first of all, I respect everybody who went to college and got a degree, because I could not even sit still long enough. I'm not taking nothing away from you guys who've done this, please, right? See, that's emotional intelligence, having empathy, knowing that some people spent a lot of time, blood, sweat, and tears getting their degree. I want to make sure I honor that. But what I'm saying on a bigger scope of it, they charge us $60,000, $70,000 to go to school, $30,000 to go to school, and it doesn't connect in most cases to a job that allows you to cash that loan back out. So you wind up spending money on that loan for all these years, high interest rate. That's the old way of thinking. Then you got entrepreneurs out here that make $30,000 in a day, $30,000 in a month by connecting the dots, right? Recognizing where there's a problem that needs to be solved, and they're filling that gap, right? And they're getting real life experience, right? Practical experience, right? And not in the classroom. That's the beauty about the I Never Worry Academy, right? That I'm encouraging you guys to join. I want to see if I can get at least one person to join the academy today. I'm asking, right? Can I get one person to join the academy today? Give it a free trial, you know, so you guys can start spreading the word about it, because it is shared through personal experiences. Everything about emotional intelligence is through my personal experience, and I'm bringing on other dope instructors from different backgrounds to talk about their world through the lens of emotional intelligence, right? So you can get what you need directly. And it's pennies on the dollar. It don't really cost that much though, right? But what I'm trying to get you guys to understand, there's ways, right, to get this done. Hey, Felicia, the Academy is my online emotional intelligence program, right? INeverWorryAcademy.com. It's where you can get all of my EI content, the stuff that you see me teach at the Kaisers and the Berkeley Labs and the Sutters and the Marriotts, and you see me traveling doing. I put it online because I know that all of us won't be able to work places that'll bring me on. So like I said, I'm doing everything I can to get the word out as much as possible. You can get it through the book. You can get it through the Academy. The Academy is forever, though. I'm going to forever load content. I do commentary on current events, something happening in the world. I recognize it. I speak on it through the lens of emotional intelligence, ways that we can help manage and deal with that, other perspectives, things that you can take and leave out the door, right, and start learning right now. That's what we're doing here, you guys. So I appreciate you guys, everybody who's tapped in. I appreciate those that follow me. I appreciate the love. I appreciate living in purpose. I love when somebody says, hey, man, you're making a difference. That's human currency. I love it to the point even when they say, hey, I'm exercising it and it worked for this person. I love when you like, I'm teaching my kids this, right? I'm love when you say, you know what, I had a difficult situation. This is my favorite. When you tell me I was about to do this, but then I thought about your platform, so I did that. Woo! I'm getting chills right now thinking about that. Because that's a life changer. That's love right there. That's, you know, who's that? So how do you join? Go to INeverWorryAcademy.com, my man. I Never Worry Academy, and just tap in, and you just register, man, and you'll be in, right? You get a 7-day free trial. Come check me out. But that is ultimate human currency. When somebody is honest and vulnerable, like, man, I was about to make a poor decision. I was about to react a certain kind of way, and I thought about what is that you do, what you're sharing, so I did this, and it turned out better. Okay, I see you, Leon, I got you, baby. And that to me is that's what life's about right there. Helping people, you know what I'm saying, be better. Human currency, way better than money. If you move the people, no matter what you do in life, if you're selling a product, if you're providing a service, if you work somewhere, right? If you move the people, the money will come. Because people will always feel good about doing something for you. People will look out for you. People will bring you resources, right? Like I was saying earlier, people talk about, they commend me, and I appreciate it about what I'm doing, but it ain't me, it's the people. It's the people who genuinely tap in, who understand where I'm going with this. So they'll say, hey, I work over at this place right here. We need some emotional intelligence. Give me, I'll send it to you, Leon. Give me, right? Give me the information. I send them an email. That's how I get in. It's magical, but it ain't no big, you know, I ain't doing nothing like super fantastic like that. I'm just spending human currency. Thank you, Felicia Williams, for just joining in. I appreciate that. For joining the Academy. Thank you. I got that one person. Oh, I take that back. I got two. I seen Monique Griffin join in. Thank you guys for joining the Academy. Tiffany Daco, I see you. Tiffany out here. We up here at San Joaquin Miller Park. Every time I come up here, I see Tiff out there. She works, you know, she got her workout program going, and it's fantastic. She have a lot of ladies out there, and she putting in work with them, and it's a beautiful sight. I love what you're doing, Tiff. Good work. Yes, right, this human currency. It is why I'm able to move the way I move. When I took an early retirement from my job, people was like, whoa, they was, you know, emotional. Right? So if you was jealous or envy of me, you start questioning, what is he going to do? How is he going to do this? How is he going to do that? Listen, this is important, man. If you might have heard me say this before. An old wise man once said that a bird is never concerned about the branch that he or she lands on, because the faith is not in his branch, it's in his wings, right? So when I left my job, I wasn't concerned about what I was doing next, because my faith is ultimately in my own wings. I can fly from wherever. Most of us that are trapped in our jobs, that's why I always say, don't let your dreams die in a cubicle. I figured if the county could pay me $100,000 for my time, right? How many other people out here would pay me for my value? Watch that. Your job, don't ever start thinking that your job, right, is a one-way street. It's two-way. That is why they're hiring. If they didn't need you, they wouldn't hire. They just bring all their friends and family. The minute they put, we're now hiring, they're vulnerable. They need help. Now they're just looking for, right? Erica, thank you, sweetheart. I see you for joining. Appreciate that. Much love. Listen, the minute they put the hiring out there, now it's equitable, right? They need help to do whatever. Push their product, service, whatever they got to do. Now it's all about who shows up to the table that's the best fit for that. When they hired you, they said you were the best fit. So they need you like you need them. So it's fair exchange, no robbery. So don't never go in there hella submissive. And you know, I understand we be grateful for opportunities, but then get off your knees and stand up and be like, yeah, we working together on this, right? Not to be honorary and just super confident, but hey, what you bring to the table has value. And they not happy when you leave, right? Because they got to replace you, right? There's a gap in services, right? Now, back to my conversation about believing in yourself. When I left, there was no doubt, right, what I would do next because I believe in myself. You should believe in yourself the exact same. That's emotional intelligence, right? Be like super crazy about your potential, right? Don't let nobody challenge your potential, right? Because wherever you go in life, there's value. If they're paying you now, 10 more people will pay you for the exact same thing. But you don't know that yet because you got stuck. You got in a routine, right? We all get in these behavioral patterns and you just get up every day and you just showed up. I pulled up to that hill for 15 years straight, every single day. 15 years straight, right? Well, 5 days a week. Hell, maybe 6 days a week, so I was working a lot of overtime. Unconsciously, right? I could damn near drive here in my sleep. It becomes a routine. And so a lot of us, we go into our jobs every single day and we giving the man or the woman or the company or whatever all of our skills, all of our values, all of our ideas, all of our perspective, right? And you leaving so much out here in this free world. There's so much world out here, you guys. There's 7 billion people in the world. There's hundreds of countries, right? Plenty of places to go. There's a lot of people that will pay you for what you do. But you got to believe in yourself. I think I just went on an extra 15 minutes. I said I was getting off a minute ago, but I love the engagement. I love talking to you guys. I do this because it's just in me, innate, right? Sometimes I can't sleep, you know. I get up in the middle of the night, I just be on one. Some of y'all see me up at 3 o'clock in the morning, I just be on one. I be reading, I be thinking. I got these big easel papers taped all over the walls in my house, right? Writing down ideas, trying to figure out, you know what I mean, another creative way. Good morning, Lakeisha. Another creative way to get emotional intelligence out there. Hey, Sharon, hey, fam, right? You know, I'm always trying to figure out a way to do it, but I need your help, right? Just like I say, I don't let your dreams die in a cubicle. I don't want to die and then this whole movement just die, right? I want to be on some Martin Luther King shit. Like, I want to leave a legacy. Good morning, Leash. Right? I want to leave a legacy, right, of people that are spending human currency through the lens of emotional intelligence. They are intentionally checking their own temperature, managing their own reactions, skillfully responding to the actions of others, right? That's what I want to do. That's what I want to be known for. I don't want to be, you know, and my wife already knows, and I don't want y'all arguing with her if I leave here before she does. I'm not going in the ground, you guys, not in the box. No. She gonna put me in one of them little urns, them little pod things, and she gonna plant me back in the ground with some lemon seeds. I'm coming back as a lemon tree. So I'm gonna continue to work through detoxing folks through lemon tree, right? I need something to still be here. I don't want to I'm gonna do everything I can, right, to spread this word, leave a legacy, you know, be recorded in the history books 100 years from now for someone who tried to make a difference. Peace and love. I'm about to continue to enjoy this beautiful day. Thank you for spending time with me. One last request. If you're still here, I see 28 people on my live. 28 people, 29 now. Do me a favor, hit the share button, please. Damn, just dropped down to 26. I spoke too soon. If you're still on, please, right, hit the share button. If the message didn't resonate with you, maybe somebody else will. Hey, Simi, how you doing? Yep, a lemon tree, sweetheart. I got to come back as a lemon tree. I want a big lemon tree somewhere my grandkids could be like, oh, that's Papa Bear, you know, climb all on it, you know. People making their lemonade, I'm detoxing people long after I'm gone. But I ain't going in the ground in no goddamn box. I tell you that for sure. Do me a favor, man, share this link, right? Just hit the share button, that's free. That definitely don't cost you nothing, right? Encourage people to check out the live. If you're trying to get in with the movement, go download a free copy of the book, ineverworryfreebook.com. You already have the book, download it, share it to somebody, right? There's somebody in your phone that can use emotional intelligence. Don't you sit here and tell me, don't you sit here and tell me that it's not. There is somebody that can benefit from emotional intelligence. Download the link, share it with somebody. And if you want to rock with us, you want to help grow the movement, join the Academy, ineverworryacademy.com, right? Join us, create the movement. The next round I'm about to do, I want to teach people how to teach emotional intelligence. If you want to be taught how to teach this emotional intelligence, you want to maybe start a career, maybe have a side hustle in terms of doing it for the corporations. You want to become an expert at it so that you can talk to other people in this language. That's coming next. But you're only going to be able to get it through the Academy. I'm going to do a trainer program because I got to get this off of me, right? I got to get it off of me. I know, hey, unfortunately, I'm 45 years old. Fortunately, I'm 45. Unfortunately, the data says, right, that the average lifespan in the United States is 78. Might be 81 for women, right? But for men, 78. Now, of course, I feel like I'm above average, so I should live a little bit longer than that, outside some tragedy. But even with that, even if we double it, say 90, one thing's for sure, right? We all ain't living two more past 100. So my point is, I ain't got that much time. If I'm 45 now and that went by like that, another 45 years will go by just like that. So that's why I ain't out here playing. That's why the grind is real. But I realize that I can't do it by myself. So that's why the plea is like, please join me, right? And not just on some, I'm watching you and I respect what you're doing. Let's do something together, right? Let's learn it. Let's share it. Don't just like I say. And if people are following me that are not interested in emotional intelligence, I don't want you following me respectfully. Let's empty that seat for somebody who needs it, right? Because that's what life's about. I'm living in purpose, right? I'm leaning and living with purpose every single day. Every single day I get up, that's what I'm about. How can I spread emotional intelligence, right? That's why when I sit down and take a call. Thank you, Miss Felicia. I seen that. Thank you. Right? Little partner. Man, that's big. Man, thank you, brother. Thank you. Humble, man. You know what I'm saying? When the folks from the town who've been around that I grew up under tap in and give you the nod, that's important. Right? When my colleagues and my peer group tap in and say, man, I feel you, that's important. And what's even more important to me, and not dismissing none of that, yesterday, one of the youngsters at the picnic came to me and told me that he admired me. He thought I was like iconic in terms of like a great person to learn from. And that like rattled my spirit because I was like, man, I don't necessarily hear it from the young. And I was working at the hall, yeah, but I've been at the hall for almost 16 months now. So I don't see a lot of youngsters on a day-to-day. Youngsters are not really who follow me on social media. So when the man came to me and looked me in the eye and was like, man, you doing great things. Like I aspire to be, like I'm like, whoa. So that was fuel to keep going. So all y'all love and support, you know what I'm saying? Good morning, Destiny. Good morning, baby. That it just moves my heart, man. So I thank you guys, you know what I'm saying, seriously, So let's have a stress-free and peaceful day. Make sure that you are vibing responsibly, right? And do what you can in your community, right? Do what you can. If you got a problem with somebody in your world, in your life, do me a favor, call them. Don't text them, right? Call them, pick up the phone. Go back to the last conversation and say, hey, DB, how you doing? Just want to check in with you. I know you haven't heard from me in a while. I just wanted to give you a call and say, I apologize for my role, right, and whatever happened. See, the key to it is not to try to talk to them about what you think they did, right? Self-awareness, say, I want to apologize to you for what I did, my role in that situation, and leave it at that. Human currency will make that person want to spend the money right back and go, thank you, I appreciate that, because I want to apologize for my role. And guess what? Problem solved. Most of anything in this world, you guys, can be resolved by a simple conversation. All right, about to go take my walk. Peace and love.